So, what's it gonna be? Batman.
See? There ain't it.
So some big things have been happening recently in the comic book movie space. James Gunn announced a new slate of DC movies, where he was basically Negan and picked who he was taking with him to the new universe.
Back to it.
But besides that, there are two superhero movies that are going to kick off 2023. One from each of the big two. That's Ant-Man 3 for Marvel and Shazam 2 for DC. And damn, I couldn't be any less hyped for these two movies. A few weeks ago, I did a short ranking my level of excitement for the comic book movies coming out this year. And for these two, I gave them this.
Don't care, don't care, don't care, still don't care.
We've gotten several trailers for both of these movies now. I never really spoke on them, but since they release soon, I figured hell, time to stop playing Devil May Cry 5 and start bitching a little bit. So let's start with the one that I'm least excited about. Ant-Man 3. So I'm gonna be real with you. The Ant-Man movies aren't that good. The first one I thought was pretty decent, and that was mainly due to the fact that Edgar Wright was attached to the project for a little while. Originally he was set to write and direct it, but due to creative differences, he left the project. And from my knowledge, his script was rewritten and changed, but he still came up with the basic story and concept. But you could still vaguely tell that this was definitely going to be an Edgar Wright movie. They basically left them an outline or skeleton, but of course it's not as slick or well made like if Edgar Wright made it himself. But it was an overall okay experience. It felt very much inspired by Edgar Wright movies, but you could tell something was just missing. Now for the sequel, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Edgar Wright was gone, and so the writers and director were left up to their own devices. And well, it just felt like a very cheap imitation of the first film, an even more watered down version of Edgar Wright's style, lacking anything really creative with its action and editing, and a dialogue didn't have any real wit or comedic flair, not to mention a lame ass villain. You can tell whatever pieces of Edgar Wright that were left in the previous movie were gone by the second. Also, the sequel wasted Walton Goggins, very underrated actor. So to really sum it up, I've seen what they can do on their own, and I wasn't impressed by it. The director of the previous Ant-Man films, Peyton Reed, is also coming back for the third, and there's nothing in his filmography that actually blows me away. And I genuinely believe that the only reason the first Ant-Man film came out as good as it did was because at some point Edgar Wright was attached to it. So that one came out pretty decent. But for the sequel, they obviously just fumbled it. So I really don't think they're going to be able to blow me away with this third film. Honestly, the only interesting thing about it is the fact that Kang is the main antagonist, which is kind of cool. But he's going to be the big bad guy in the next Avengers movie, so I feel like I'm not going to miss much if I don't see this movie. So regardless of what happens, I know he's coming back, so I know nothing that significant is going to happen to him. Oh no, Ant-Man defeated this version of Kang. I wonder if he'll stay gone even though this is now his second appearance after being taken out already in Loki. Oh, and also MODOK is there. I don't really care that much either. Yeah, so to really wrap this whole thing up, I wasn't that impressed by the previous Ant-Man movies, so I'm not that interested in this one. And yeah, sure, Kang is in it, but he's gonna be in the next Avengers film, so I'm pretty sure he's gonna do something more important there. Yeah, but anyway, Ant-Man 3 looks pretty mid. Let's move on to the next one. Damn, I actually almost feel sorry for Shazam 2. You see, it was originally going to release in December of 2022, where it was going to go up against Avatar 2, but it got delayed until March. Now, though, it's going up against John Wick 4. Yeah, it's going to get folded. So I actually really enjoyed the first Shazam movie. I thought it was a very good and solid experience. I do think it's a little overrated. A lot of fans and critics really hyped it up for some reason, but overall it was a good experience. So I was very interested in the sequel. And now after a couple of trailers, I gotta say, I'm just not feeling the hype and I don't really know why. I mean, they redesigned the suits and it looks pretty good. And the scale and scope of the story is much bigger. I mean, hell, they're fighting a fucking dragon. That's pretty cool. And unlike with Ant-Man, I really like the director's work. I think David F. Sandberg is pretty solid. If you look at his full feature-length films like Lights Out, Annabelle Creation, and Shazam, he's definitely pretty good. But if you hop over to his YouTube channel called Pony Smasher, he has dozens and dozens of shorts that he's done over the years that are fairly creative and pretty fun. Not to mention, he's made several videos about the behind-the-scenes stuff on the films he's worked on that are filled with a lot of useful information for people who want to get into the film industry or just want to know how it works behind the scenes. And honestly, I can't wait for him to return to the horror genre. I know he's producing a few things, but I can't wait to see him direct another horror film. But circling back to Shazam Fury of the Gods, after watching the few trailers and seeing a few clips here and there, it's just not hitting me. The humor definitely seems like it's switched a little bit from the first. It feels a bit more quippy, very MCU-ish, kind of like Black Adam if I'm being honest. And there's several jokes I've been seeing in the trailers that really just fall flat. So it kind of makes me worry. Though I will admit that I am more interested in this film versus Ant-Man 3 because number one, I enjoyed the first Shazam more than I do the Ant-Man movies, and number two, I enjoyed David F. Sandberg's work over Peyton Reed's. So in both those regards, Shazam has the better repertoire, it has the better previous entry, and a director whose work I like. But still, even then, neither one of these had me that excited. Hell, if I'm being honest with you, I'm more interested in that Dungeons and Dragons movie than I am either one of these. Ironically, that movie is being made by the writers of Spider-Man Homecoming, which is definitely a top tier MCU film. I've already expressed this before, but I guess I'll say it again. I've been experiencing superhero fatigue hard these last few months, and after a lifetime of consuming this stuff, I don't got the energy to get that excited for it anymore, especially after all the mid and downright bad projects that have been popping up more and more frequently over the last few years. I probably didn't do that good of a job explaining why I'm not that interested in these movies, but I figure I might as well make this video because a lot of people have been asking me what I think about them because I haven't made a dedicated video about either one. And well, now you know the reason. Just two very mid projects that I'm not really that hyped for. Will I see them? Yeah, probably. Will I see them in theaters? Probably not. But I'm definitely gonna be there opening weekend for John Wick 4.
Why do you come here?
And for once, I don't feel like I'm alone in this one because I've been seeing a lot of people say on social media that they also aren't that interested. Just kind of like, yeah, whatever, more cape shit coming out. But then again, maybe you feel differently, so go ahead and leave a comment. Let me know. What do you think about Ant-Man 3 and Shazam 2? Are you hyped for them? Do they interest you? Leave a comment and let me know. And of course, if you enjoyed the video, go and drop a like on it. And we'll give a nice big shout out to the channel members. If you're interested in becoming a channel member, click the join button down below and check out the perks. If they interest you, consider joining. Or not. It don't matter.
I ain't got a problem with Lil Bow Wow. Lil Bow Wow got some bomb ass pussy.
You heard the N-word less as you've gotten older in your life, do you feel like? Or did you hear it much growing up? Really?
No, I never had somebody, like, a different race call me the N-word to my face.
Never?
Never. I think I'm like one of the
You
lucky
ready?
ones. Well, no, wait, whoa. What